Hello again, everybody. This is Michael Charles from leadingwithintent.com. It's a pleasure to be with you again today for the three-part series covering the enemies that keep most people pinned down to a life of mediocrity, misery, and poverty. Now, a couple of days ago, I shared the first enemy with you, doubt, right? Doubting who you are, right? Who I am, everybody, right? Whose you are and what you are really capable of, right? Not living in the truth of you, right? Yes, you, right? No matter how unworthy you may think you are right now, not living in the truth of you being a center of divine operation, creature made in God's image to create, innovate, and seek fuller expression and expansion of the possibilities and the desires within you. Right? That's what we covered in video one. And yesterday, I shared the second enemy that you need to be aware of and accept as an integral part of you in order to live a more fruitful and meaningful life. Right? It's the enemy we call fear. All of us at one point in life have been impacted by this or immobilized by it. And it's fear. I mean, we don't recognize it most of the time because it lives outside of us and usually disguises itself as our protector. And frankly, most of us, right, it's been ensuring our survival since we became conscious of ourselves as a living being. However, to create, innovate, and give birth to our dreams, we do have to identify the ghosts of fears which I shared with you and then accept them as a part of who we are and muster the courage to take action in spite of those fears. Plow ahead. And that's what I shared with you in the video. And so if you missed these first two videos, feel free to go back and watch them. But today, I'm excited to share with you, and I'm really grateful to do that, right? The third enemy. And I'm grateful that you also joined me here today for that. So if you remember what I said yesterday, where two of those enemies are found, the other one is close by. And that I covered the 6 ghosts of fear, or the basic fears, right? Left unchecked. Those fears are translated into worry. And that becomes a big problem, right? And indecision then is the third enemy of that trio that we talked about. You see, we make thousands of decisions a day. Some of them are automatic, relegated to our subconscious mind. Some of them require minimal thought process, while others require intense and focused thinking. Some of those decisions, depending on our state of mind, reflect the best of us. And for some others, well, we know we should have not. Right? We should have or could have done a better decision, but could have made a better decision, but you didn't. Right? You know you should have treated this person or that person better, but didn't. You know you should have said yes when you said no, or vice versa. Or that you just didn't take actions toward a specific goal that you wanted to achieve and that you've been putting off for days, weeks, or maybe years. You know what I'm talking about. On my end, I shared this with you yesterday, for example. It took me years before I could muster the courage to record myself on video and share it on social media. It was a combination of doubt and fear that prevented me from doing so, even if I had made the decision. So, as I said, these enemies can really pin you down and prevent you from showing up for yourselves and for those around you. But through doubt and fear, regardless, right? If we don't take action, we're going to get on the sideline if we do not muster the courage to get in the game and play full on. So tonight, I'm encouraging you to make a decision to get in the game despite the fears and doubts you feel inside, right? Make your future self proud of you, right? Make it, like I said, imagine your future self coming back and said, thank you for doing this, right? So make your future self proud of you and coming back and say, thank you. Now, none of us are expert at decision making, right? And so right? Some of us, we've made good and bad decisions at times. And so through the years, me personally, I've made good and bad decisions, but I've learned from them. And one of the things I've also learned from is different modes of learning, right? From different mediums and different modes of learning. And one of them for me, well, several of them for me, right? You could say books, videos, mentors, and coaches. And trust me, as long as you live, the University of Life will still be in session. If you do not learn from it, you are doomed. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but you will be doomed because you must learn every day to grow into the person that you must become, the better version of yourselves, in order to be, do, and have more of the things that you want in your life. And so, as I said, over the past decade, really, I've learned some things about decision making. Some really through getting whipped into shape, whipped around by life, and some of them through mentors. And so I want to share some of them with you tonight to help you make better decisions and help you in your decision making process. So the first one I'd like to share with you is suspend the requirements of knowing how. Right? Suspend the requirements of knowing every single steps you will have to take to accomplish something. And simply just take the first step. Right? Think about it. If the Wright brothers, right, had to know how to fly a plane before inventing one, we would never be able to travel miles across the ocean to other continents within just hours. Right? The other day I went to California. In 5 hours I was there. If I was riding a horse, you know how many days it would take me? Now, number two is to make decision based on intention and dreams, right? If you have a dream, you have a desire, make decision based on that dream, based on that desire, as opposed to the resources that are available to you, right? In alignment with the thought process I described in the very first, in the first tip I just shared with you now, suspend the requirement of knowing how, right? Most people wait until they have the money, know exactly which step to take, know which relationships they can leverage, or any other resources necessary for them to decide to do anything good in their lives. Right? All the stars in their mind must be aligned. But the problem is, all of the stars will never be aligned. Right? They will never line up exactly in the way that most of us expect. Right? You just have to start. You just have to make a decision and get going. As a matter of fact, whenever you start something new for the first time, you will never know all the steps. As a matter of fact, the steps you thought you needed or knew to take changes on you. So then, hey, you just have to go by faith. Take it all by faith. Now, even when you take the first step, you'll probably make mistakes. You'll fail. You'll get things wrong. But what's important is that you learn from the failure and adjust accordingly. So remember, failure is only a form of feedback. It doesn't have to stop you dead on your tracks. Just start where you are with what you have, right? Throughout my life, I realized that anything significant and meaningful that I've done and succeeded at, I decided on first. And then went to work, even when the conditions sometimes didn't match what I expected. Circumstances do not fashion my dreams, but my dreams and efforts fashion my circumstances, right? And so you must decide first and then get to action, finding the things that are required to make your dream a reality, despite the detours that you may experience when compared to what you thought everything was going to be or everything had to go by. Now, the third tip I want to share with you is to give you a blog post to read, and it's called the 10 Questions for Courageous Decision Making. It's a blog post that's most trafficked on my website. And they are lessons that I learned from my mentor, John Maxwell. And I thought I'd share them with you as the third tip tonight. As most of you know by now, I am a John Maxwell certified coach and teacher. So my role for those I work with is that of a cheerleader, an advisor, and a coach. Someone to challenge their thinking to a higher level of vibrational energy or frequency. Right? It's like tuning to a channel. Right? Music is playing it anytime, wherever you are, but because you don't have any antenna or channel to tap in, you can't hear it. And so my role is to also help them tune into these, what do I call it? Frequencies, right? Specific frequencies or frequencies that would give them intense focus. And also another thing I do for them is to help them break through limiting beliefs holding them back from the very thing that they want in life, right? A life of success and significance, right? Making a positive impact in the lives of their families, their friends, and those they work with. I do this with clients in my coaching program and with those in my intentional living and leadership mastery membership program. And so I'm sharing that with you so you know this is usually where I share these kind of things. But tonight or this week, I felt that it was necessary for me to share these things with you. So for the blog post, my website is leadingwithintent.com. What I'll do is I will post the link to the blog post I mentioned in the comments here. And you can go ahead and read it when you get a chance. I can guarantee you this blog post will change the way you think about decision making. Just as much, if not much more than some of the things I've shared here with you already. Anyway, so as I said, if you want to learn more about me and some of my work, you can go to leadingwithintent.com. And if the membership program I talked about is not for you, that's fine. Sign up to get some free lessons and gifts. You can join us whenever it's time. No pressure here, really. I mean, I'm just here sharing some of the thoughts and some of the things that I thought I'd share with you today. Some things that I wanted to do to add value to you, and for being a part of my community, for being friends, for being people that I interact with, some of you on a daily basis or more frequently than others. But either way, you're all in my community. And so thanks for joining. I hope you got value out of this lesson tonight. And go to that blog post, see the 10 questions for courageous decision making, and feel free to make comments or come back to this post and make comments and share your thoughts with me. I'd love to hear from you. Once again, this is Michael Charles coming at you from leadingwithintent.com. It was a pleasure, and I hope you got something out of these 3 videos that would make an impact in your life, in how perhaps you make decisions, in how you deal with fear, in understanding how you can handle the doubts that creeps in every once in a while. So, be well, my friends. Have a good night.